Sound.
Speed.
Camera. Rolling. Action.
As shooting progressed, there was a saying on set, "This is hardcore." And what that meant was you were either part of the hardcore crew or you were part of the softcore crew. The hardcore crew were the guys who went for 32 days straight, sleeping sometimes as little as 1 hour a night to get this film finished.
This is hardcore refers to the people that were there and awake at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That was the phrase, that was the expression everybody was saying on set, because we were doing everything on the edge, long hours, impossible conditions, impossible timeframes.
If you looked at this scenario with the money, the crew, the locations, you just would not do it the way we did it. I mean, you know, it was insane.
Nothing can possibly prepare you or challenge you more than making an independent feature film for $50,000.
On a hot summer day,
You're right here with Gene Roseberry on 29 FM. So get up and at 'em, warriors. It's a war zone out there and you've got to stay focused and fight hard.
I had a background in short films shot on video. A friend of mine, Andrew Carr, actually turned out to be the executive producer and the music composer on Radio Samurai. Together we co-directed a 1 hour mini feature on a VHS called Duplicity, and it involved lots of stunts, lots of action. At the end of that process, I decided that I really wanted to go out and direct my own feature film. It was time to take the next big step. The idea for Radio Samurai came to me one night while I was watching a documentary on Orson Welles. And part of the documentary went through what had happened when he put on his radio play, War of the Worlds, and convinced a large proportion of the listening audience that aliens were actually invading America. And I thought that was a fantastic starting point. And over the course of about 6 months or a year, I started developing the idea of a hip young radio DJ who loses his job one day and has to put on a live tour radio play extravaganza.
An action romance thriller spectacular. Something off the wall with swords and funky big beats. And a happy ending.
There were a lot of films around at the time in Australia which were films that I didn't like at all. That's why I wanted to make Radio Samurai so desperately, was to show people that you could actually make a commercial styled film in Australia and you could have fun characters instead of all your characters having to be these depressed people who wanted to kill themselves, and take people on a ride for 90 minutes. Radio Samurai in that respect became the antithesis of what the Australian film industry was producing, and it's one of the reasons why so many people were willing to work on the film. I held auditions for Radio Samurai at the University of Melbourne, and I had no idea what I was doing getting into this feature film business. I just put up posters and notices and called a few casting agents.
He had seen just about every actor in Melbourne, if not all of them, and I was there for, as I say, a few days helping with some of the response reads. And I suppose from reading for John over 3 days and sort of becoming the character, Nick was able to step back and said to himself, you know what, I think Nath should actually play John.
Which was awesome, because he'd become so comfortable with the script and so natural at delivering the lines that to me, none of the other actors that came through were going to be better.
Nathan and I were doing some acting classes together, and he mentioned that a friend of his had written a feature film, and he suggested that I maybe go for a role. To be honest, I didn't know Nathan that well, and I had no idea what I was turning up to. I thought, you know, maybe I was turning up to meet some dodgy guy with a handy cam in the backyard of somewhere.
So, what do you do, Ellen?
My name is Alison, and I'm a writer.
You have a pretty name.
Gee, that's hardly original.
I went into it hoping to have some fun and to see what happened. And I did have fun.
Heading up to 8 o'clock for you guys and girls. We want to jump in the shower before some cruel loser steals the hot water. But before you put Hercules back in the closet, remember to smile at your friends and spread today's mystery word, putty. I'll catch you again tonight at 8 when we send you off to sleep with our easy mix.
I came out of it thinking to myself, whether or not I got a part, I wanted to be involved in the show.
I don't think I actually auditioned. I can't remember. Maybe I just got it because the character was a bit of a smug, arrogant prick. And Nick had known me for about a year and just felt quite comfortably that I was a natural for that part.
We should do a cross-genre piece, like suspense drama, combat, tragedy, soft porn, romance.
You're right. Why not combine them all?
Like a radio action romance thriller.
I remember calling up the main actors to tell them they had their lead roles. That was a great thrill for me because here I was, a young man embarking on his first feature film, to tell them that I was about to take them on this journey. And none of us had any idea where it was going to go or what it was going to involve. All we knew it was going to be absolutely epic. I set about finding a crew. So I did probably the simplest thing anyone could do. I put up notices at film schools. I got a flood of calls, and one of the people who called me was a man named Carl Seaman.
Well, I'm fresh out of film school. I've been out for about a year. I was 23 and I thought, what a great opportunity, shoot a feature. I thought this one had a chance because I was encouraged by the producer Nick, and I didn't really care about money or getting paid or anything like that. Why would you? You just wanted to shoot a film. You wanted to shoot your first feature and get it done as soon as possible.
We ended up having a crew it was massive for an independent film. It's about 30 or 35 crew roles. Those 35 crew members were the most enthusiastic bunch of people that I could possibly have found.
Well, me and Nick planned a look which was going to be really poppy and high colour and bright and happy and something fairly distinctive and marketable, I think. Something very dynamic and in your face. We sort of wanted to have something which looked different to other films.
Part of that was costumes, part of that was makeup, and a large part of that was the locations. And we secured some mammoth locations for this film. I didn't want it to be a film that was all set in one room like so many other independent films. I wanted it to be huge in its scope. The South Bank complex, the Metro nightclub was massive. Shooting at the airport, which an independent film had never done before in Melbourne. That's the sort of stuff I love to do. Getting closer to the start shoot date, I stressed a lot about having enough money to be able to shoot it on film. But eventually, I went to the bank. What else can you do sometimes? I told them I was taking out a car loan, and luckily for me, they were stupid enough to believe me. So here I was taking out this loan for a car which didn't even exist. My goal is I've got $50,000 and I want it to look like $1 million. That was the important thing to me, was to use what little money I had and make it look like $1 million.
My honest first impressions of the script were that it had a lot of potential. I really liked the central story of a guy who tries to get his job back, his job which is a creative job, by excelling creatively.
I remember thinking the idea was good, and the idea of working on a film that was a romantic comedy appealed to me because I thought it would be a fun thing to do.
On reading the script the first time, I was impressed by its originality, and I had never seen a script like it before.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the script when I first saw it. One reason was a lot of it I didn't feel made sense. I couldn't work out the flow of events. I didn't like some of the humour. I felt a lot of humour was relying on the fact that we had these fairly chauvinistic, sexist guys making obnoxious comments. But having said all that, it was a feature script that this guy I work with wrote and approached me with, and that was exciting.
Over the few months after I originally saw the script, Nick rewrote a lot of the parts of the script. The character of Alison really drew me in just because she was so sassy and fun and